These are the lecture notes for the last section of Chapter 35, which is Section 35.3 on respiration and human health. So Chapter 35 is on the respiratory system. We went over breathing and which is ventilation, and then external respiration, which is the exchange of gases within the lungs, between the lungs and the blood, and internal respiration, which is the exchange of gases between the blood and the tissues. So now we're going to talk about basically human diseases involving the respiratory system, or human, conditions involving the respiratory system. So we're going to start with the common cold, which is a mild viral infection. And since it is a viral infection, you cannot use antibiotics to treat it. Antibiotics are effective for bacterial infections, but not for viral infections. So if you go to the doctor and they tell you that you have a cold virus, that is the reason they generally do not prescribe antibiotics, and tell you to really just kind of tough it out, and they might give you some different things you can do, to help ease the symptoms. But anyway, a cold virus is characterized by sneezing, runny nose, mild fever. I actually have a cold virus right now, so it's not the worst one I've ever had, but I don't feel that well. But anyway, I know it's a cold virus because my son had it and my grandson. So it lasts a few days before the virus is eliminated by the immune system, typically in a healthy person, otherwise healthy person. And usually a cold virus is a type of coronavirus. Of course, we also know that COVID-19 is a coronavirus. But just the regular cold virus is caused by different strains of coronaviruses typically. And that makes it very difficult to have a vaccine for a cold virus, because there are so many different strains and the cold virus mutates so quickly. So the other another thing that you can have in the upper respiratory system is strep throat, which is known as acute pharyngitis. Acute means it's going to go away. Chronic means it's going to last for a long time, but acute means that it's going to go away. So pharyngitis is inflammation of the throat, and a bacterium causes this. The bacterium is called Streptococcus pyogenes, and it causes a severe sore throat, high fever, and white patches on the tonsils. And usually antibiotics can take care of the strep throat. That is a picture of someone who has a strep throat infection. Tonsils are bright red, and then they have those white patches on them. Now, lower respiratory tract, a person, of course, can be choking because the epiglottis failed to prevent the food from going down into the windpipe or trachea. And so the food became lodged in the person's windpipe, in their airways. And you probably know this, but you can use the Heimlich maneuver, which involves grabbing the choking person around the waist from behind and then forcefully pulling both hands into their upper abdomen to cause forceful air, to hopefully dislodge whatever whatever the object is that caused the choking. Then you can have acute bronchitis, which is inflammation of the bronchi. These are the large airways. Remember, they can branch into smaller bronchioles, and you can also have bronchiolitis, which is a deeper lung infection. But acute bronchitis can be caused by allergies. It can be caused by environmental toxins or cigarette smoke. And chronic bronchitis is just someone who has bronchitis, who keeps bronchitis, like all the time. And that typically is someone who smokes, or because of their career, their job that they do, they're exposed to airborne toxins frequently. But in chronic bronchitis, the airways become inflamed and filled with mucus. And then there's asthma, in which the airways are unusually sensitive to specific irritants. When exposed to these irritants, the smooth muscles in the bronchioles undergo spasms, and it makes it very, very difficult for the person to get enough air into their lungs. And then we have a couple of other lower respiratory tract infections, pneumonia, and pneumonia can be caused, that's fluid, fluid accumulating in the lungs. So that can be viral, bacterial, or fungal. And the lungs will fill up with pus and fluid, a mixture of pus and fluid. There's also pulmonary tuberculosis, or TB. It is caused by a bacterial infection, Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Before the middle of the 20th century, so 1800s, early 1900s, TB was a major killer in the United States. You may know the story of like Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday, all of that. There's been a lot of Westerns made about those characters. They were actually real people, and Doc Holliday was really famously known for having tuberculosis and died from tuberculosis. But it results in lung damage and reduced lung function. The incidence of TB is actually rising in places where HIV is common, and which is our third world countries, really. There is a TB skin test in which a diluted extract of the bacterium is injected into the skin, and that can determine if someone has been exposed. A lot of times, if you're going into health care, you will have to have a TB skin test. My daughter just had to have one to take an EMT course at the community college. Okay, and there's also emphysema, and so chronic bronchitis and emphysema together are major contributors to COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And this is really common in long-term smokers, but other people can have COPD. My husband has it, and he doesn't smoke. And hasn't ever really been, I know he smokes cigarettes occasionally, as a younger person, but he's never been a smoker, so hasn't smoked a lot in his life. So he just has it. He's always had asthma as a child, and now he has COPD. And he gets pneumonia occasionally, like more often, I think, than healthier people do. So in emphysema, the alveoli, the air sacs of the lungs, are distended, and the walls of the alveoli are damaged. And that reduces the surface area, because remember, the more alveoli that you have, we talked about in class that between both of our lungs, we have about 300 million alveoli. So a person with emphysema would have less surface area available for gas exchange. They wouldn't have all of those 300 million alveoli wouldn't be healthy and able to function. Now, another thing that can happen in the lower respiratory system is called fibrosis. Pulmonary fibrosis is when fibrous connective tissue builds up in the lungs, and of course that would make it very difficult to breathe. You want your lung tissue to be real elastic. And then there is lung cancer, and that begins with a thickening and callousing of the cells lining the airways. And then you get atypical cells, which are not normal healthy cells, that become cancerous cells, and they form a tumor. and cells from the tumor can break loose and metastasize. We call it lung cancer if the cancer begins in the lungs, but oftentimes a person who gets lung cancer will end up with cancer in other areas of the body. And I think that, no, then we have cystic fibrosis, which is a genetic disorder due to a recessive gene that is inherited from both parents. A child who gets cystic fibrosis will have the accumulation of a very thick mucus in the lungs, and also this also affects their pancreatic ducts. But the actual problem is a chloride ion channel in the cells that line their airways. And because chloride ions cannot cross those plasma membranes, water will also not cross. So water will be held inside the cells, and it will not enter into the mucus and thin the mucus. The treatment for cystic fibrosis, there is treatment. There's not a cure, but there is treatment. Involves clearing mucus from the airways. They can take mucus thinning drugs, and also vigorously slapping the patient on the back, like you would do, to help them cough. Gene therapy strategies for the CTFR gene, which is the one that is responsible for the faulty chloride ion channel. Replacing that gene, they are being attempted and they've been working on gene therapy for cystic fibrosis for years. I even had a friend that's what he did in medical school. That was one of the things that he worked on, was gene therapy for cystic fibrosis, but it's just not been that successful yet, So this is an illustration of common bronchial and pulmonary diseases. You have your acute bronchitis, asthma, pneumonia, pulmonary tuberculosis or TB, fibrosis, and emphysema. And this shows you a picture of what a normal healthy lung would look like in an adult, what it would look like in someone with emphysema, and then what it would look like in someone who has lung cancer. And a lot of that is not just lung cancer, but if they were a smoker, it's also the carbon, built up in the lungs, from the cigarette smoking over the years. All right, so what you need to do now is finish your guided notes and have them ready to show me on Monday. And I hope you guys have a great weekend.